The pleasures of being in Eastern or Central Europe. These countries, they have an adorable air about them because, they are recently freed, they recently joined the West, they just escaped from years of Soviet occupation, food lines, and a whole bunch of things that were highly unpleasant. And they're just discovering what the West is all about. And they're doing it in a lovely way. Yes, of course, there are problems. Yes, of course, for the older people, it was perhaps safer and easier to not be forced into the labor market and to have some kind of salary, although small, but guaranteed by the state, along with health services. Of course, there are victims along the side in this transition, and not everyone is equally happy. But if you look around you, you encounter again and again a spirit of youthfulness and joy and pleasure, and a lack of the ennui and the bummer type of attitude, depressive bummer type of attitude that you often see in the West. They have lots of weird, lovely things like this crazy Soviet-style metal barge, which are like docked on by the side of the river, and people go and drink, and it's cheap, and the beer is good, and the sunlight feels so great after a long kind of Middle European winter. And the spirit is youthful and happy. You see people are smiling, they're happy, a lot of families with young children. There is a lightness in the air. There is a sense of pleasure at having escaped the fate of the parents and of joining the European game. And it's enjoyable. It's a great break from the cynicism. Swans are swimming on the rivers. On the other side, there's a beach with sand. People will be swimming. There are all sorts of boats, and people sitting here, as you can see, with beers. Wonderful Eastern European beers. They have the tradition from the Germans. All kinds of barges and boats and things. They still have some of the goodies of the kind of the old world of doing things. They have public transport. A lot of the public things work well. The prices are relatively low. And these people feel part of Europe and they're happy. So when we bitch and moan about the failure that has been the European experiment, and when, especially now with Britain, wanting to leave Europe as if it's some kind of venereal disease, we should also think of these people who, look at this one. I mean, look at these little places right on the river. We should also think of these people that used to live under totalitarianism, whose parents used to live under totalitarianism, because most of the people around me have been born in European, Eastern Europe. We should think of them, and we should think how grateful they are that Europe came and knocked and took them on its side. So these are some reflections, maybe optimistic and naive. You'll call me superficial, optimistic and naive perhaps with these reflections. But when I'm here strolling around, I see that a part of the European experiment at least has succeeded, and you can see it in the smiles of these people. Noma Dimitri from Prague. Happy trails.